Hello, welcome back to part 3 of the A to Z movies. We have done up to F at this moment in time. Straight on to the G's. What you got?
Ghostbusters.
Oh, Ghostbusters, yeah, of course.
I love it.
And that's your era as well. Of like
So the first one's 84. The next one they did, I think, is like 89, 90. With the second one, which was all the slime. And then, of course, we had the reboot.
Yeah, there's been lots of movies since.
There's been the reboot that was the Melissa McCarthy. All that, I think. And then the actual proper follow-on,
like
which was Afterlife.
It was women rather than men.
And then you've got the actual proper follow-on, which is Afterlife, which is after Harold Ramis, who played Egon, died.
Right.
But they actually put it into the story that he died and get his ghost to go. It's a really good film.
Yeah.
Really good film that gets the old crew back. They've done the next one, Frozen Empire. I just haven't had a chance to watch it yet.
Right.
But that, because I remember back as a kid, everybody had a proton pack.
Or
had the car.
Well, a lot of, obviously the kids
they're
in
worth
Stranger
a lot
Things.
of money
The
now.
kids in Stranger Things obviously dress up as them as well, don't they?
Yeah, but they're worth a lot of money now. A lot of money. But yeah, I love those films. Absolutely love those films. What you got?
I've got Goldfinger.
Yes.
Obviously, we mentioned GoldenEye.
Yes, we've got GoldenEye. GoldenEye was my next one.
But Goldfinger's my favourite James Bond movie.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm assuming Connery is your favourite Bond.
Yes. It's for me. It's Connery more. Oh, it's a tough one, man. Because I love Brosnan. I love all of that thing. I love even Lazenby. I like. I don't mind George. I like George Lazenby.
What annoys me, I think, with Lazenby,
he's only got one movie.
He's only got one movie. And the only reason they actually cast him, he'd done only at that point. I think he'd only done a commercial.
Yeah, he literally just barged in and went, you're going to cast me as Bond.
And I think that's because Connery said he didn't want to do it anymore.
After You Only Live Twice. I think he was getting way too much attention on him, and he also didn't want to be typecasted.
He didn't,
just James Bond, and that's it.
But again,
I can do other movies.
Yeah,
sort of thing.
He kind of said he didn't want to do anymore, so Lazenby turned up, literally, as we said, out of nowhere. But what kind of annoys me is I really do think, as I said, I like Timothy Dalton a lot. I think he's a great Bond.
Yep.
Roger Moore, for
really,
me,
like,
because
Dalton was like what Craig's become, like, that more darker
Bond.
Bond.
Yeah. He's that darker Bond during the 80s.
Yeah.
Because again, License to Kill, his license is revoked.
It's the only movie that's a 15 rating.
Yeah, it's a darker one.
That's for a reason.
Yeah, but
great villain as well.
Brilliant.
I've got License to Kill as a nail. Actually, I don't actually. No, I have Living Daylights, but we can talk about both. We'll talk about both of them because they're both and they're both Daltons.
I really Living Daylights is great, and I really because again I think that was always going to be a hard one because Roger Moore had gone.
Yeah.
A View to a Kill is a good film.
Yeah,
and
it's on my V actually.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, we're just crossing all these up at the moment. But yeah, View to a Kill is. Yeah. You can tell Moore looks old.
He looks old in it, and again, he'd done so many action things in his time. Like beforehand, he'd done Bond, so he was Live and Let Die. He'd done The Persuaders. He'd been The Saint.
Yeah.
He'd been all of these kind of spy.
If you look at Moore as The Saint, you'd think, that's Bond.
That's Bond.
Yeah.
But that's Live and Let Die Bond.
Yeah.
As you know him, and again, he hasn't got the water for PPK. Then he's got a Magnum 44. He's got he's got the Dirty Harry gun. Is what he's got. And you're like, it's a new Bond. And again, I think with Lazenby, he comes in, Connery's gone, but the story of it. So he marries, if you don't know. He gets married to Diana Rigg, who plays his wife, and his wife is killed at the end of it, and he really gets pissed off. And it's a big part in Bond's history, and I'd have loved it if that one, which is on Her Majesty's Secret Service, by the way, I'd have loved it if it had been done by Connery.
That's also on my list, but I'm not going to talk. I've got things to talk about.
Or Pierce Brosnan. I'd have liked one of them to do it.
Yeah,
because I think they almost try and do it with Casino Royale, don't they? Because did she die?
Vesva.
Yeah, she dies, and he's quite fond of her, and he doesn't take it very well.
He was going to literally leave the service.
Yeah, he was going to leave the service for her, and she's killed because she's left in the middle of the road.
Because he basically they were going to assassinate Bond. Like Bond was dead in Casino Royale, and she gives them the money from Casino Royale for his life.
For his life.
Yeah,
and it's kind of like they took that element and did it in there weirdly a little bit.
And that was the running theme in Quantum, at least.
Yeah, because that's the follow-on, isn't it? That's the next one.
Yeah. Well, that's my Q done. Q was Quantum of Solace. But,
that's what I mean. It all kind of. That's why I did Bond as a franchise and separate films. But yeah, so when you look at it like that, it's a pivotal point in Bond's history, but it was done by the person who did the least Bonds.
Yeah.
And it's kind of shit.
I know what you mean.
I really wish one of the main...
What's your favourite James Bond movie?
James Bond movie?
Yeah.
Live and Let Die.
Okay.
I love
music's great.
The music's
Solitaire. Oh my god.
Yeah, Jane Seymour's great.
Yeah.
Yafet Koto and they're all brilliant in it.
Yeah.
There is not
there is one scene I love in Live and Let Die, and it's when like the dun 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 he's playing,
Crocs.
and he's no that's the that's great. No, he's on the boat, right?
Yeah.
And
chase.
He throws the oil in the guy's eyes.
Yeah.
And he's like, because he's like does a little like fucking spin he hits like the guy's something in the boat where it makes it just keep going in circles. Yeah. And then he shoves him into the other boat.
Lobs him into the freighter and blows up.
Like, such a
There's
good
so many points. So
Live and Let Die. J.W. Pepper.
J.W. Pepper?
Yeah.
I love him. He's great.
He's good in it.
He do commandeer this vehicle and all those within it. That means you, smart ass. Yeah. I love him in that. Oh. I love him in that. But that scene, the boat chase, the snake pit, the shark bit,
the guy with the claw thing,
the guy with the claw, at the end.
Yeah.
What's it, Baron Samedi?
Oh yeah,
like the guy with the cape and that who dresses as he's brilliant. He's spot. There is not.
Live and Let Die is a quality movie.
It's brilliant.
It's dark though. It's like
it's incredibly dark. Yeah,
it's all to do with like
voodoo, black magic, and all that kind of thing, and drug dealing. Yeah. That's what it's about. If he finds the farm, if he finds it, kill him.
Yeah.
And again, it's as a debut, spot on. Yeah. You can't fault it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Absolutely cannot fault it.
Oh yeah, I do. Yeah, that's
I would say it's probably the first, if not the second, best of the debuts. Because if you look at
it's better than Dr. No.
Better than Dr. No.
It's not as good as GoldenEye. I'm sorry.
That's what I'm saying. GoldenEye is the one that probably everyone will remember.
Yeah, Casino Royale.
It's better than
up there with Living Daylights.
Casino Royale. See, I don't mind Living Daylights, but I don't think it's better than that.
Oh, that's a tough one.
I think
that's got some good music as well.
Yeah,
the Living
So both, when you look at it like that, out of the two films for Dalton, I think License to Kill
sounds very awkward. Is how you're supposed to say. Apologies.
License to Kill and Living Daylight. I think License to Kill is the grittier film.
As like if you put two movies up against any other Bond, Living Daylights and License to Kill is up there.
Yeah,
it's hard to
see. I think there's the two there because I love Tomorrow Never Dies, but it's not. GoldenEye.
After GoldenEye,
it's after GoldenEye. It wasn't going to be brilliant. Yet The World Is Not Enough is really, really good.
That's also in
but
that's also on my list.
But Die Another Day, I don't think's that good.
No, worst. I put that in the top 3 worst James Bond movies.
Live and Let Die, and then Man and the Golden Gun. I love Christopher Lee in that, but I just don't think
I like his character, but the movie itself
I don't think the film is great.
Yeah. Nick Nack is okay.
Nick Nack's all right.
A comedy playoff one.
But then you've kind of got...
I love the start though of the Man and the Golden Gun because it's like he shoots.
Yeah.
It's like, oh shit, he's going to target Bond.
And
then it starts.
It's really gritty at the beginning, and then you've also got Dr. No, and then it goes for From Russia with Love.
Yeah.
Now I don't mind From Russia with Love.
Oh no. From Russia with Love is one of my favourites.
Is it?
I love From Russia with Love.
I think
From Russia with
the weird
Love.
thing. The thing is for me, like we were saying, Dr. No is the start.
Yeah. You can't shit on Dr. No, but exactly. I'm saying From Russia with Love's better.
From Russia with Love is good.
Goldfinger is like,
and then you've got Goldfinger. and then Thunderball.
Thunderball's good as well.
Thunderball is good. And then you've got You Only Live Twice, which I've got for why.
My worst 3 are Die Another Day.
Yeah.
Quantum of Solace, probably.
Yeah.
And Diamonds Are Forever.
Really? You don't like Diamonds Are Forever?
I think it's a bit... Yeah.
Diamonds Are Forever is, I think, almost...
It's like... It's definitely... I think it's Connery's worst.
Have you seen Never Say Never Again?
It's not part of it, though, is it? I know it's to do with Bond, the Thunderball rights and all that, and they won the case.
Yeah, so it's pretty much a remake of it under a different company, pretty much. Because while they were making that, they were making Octopussy.
Yes, yeah.
I think.
And Octopussy, like, smashed it.
And it's a good one. Again,
another good movie, Octopussy.
Octopussy,
one of James's favourite, actually.
Octopussy, I really loves Octopussy. Yeah. It's a brilliant film.
All I want.
The
music. He loves that.
I love it, and I love Q in that as well. I think he's really good in that in the balloon. I think he's great.
Yeah, with the girls.
And he's like, oh, hello.
It's like it's just completely dropped all of his like seriousness.
Yeah.
Q's great in all the Bond movies as
yeah,
well.
Yeah,
Like,
and I love the little scene they gave him in World Is Not Enough.
Yeah.
Where he says, always have an escape plan, and off he goes. And that's a brilliant little thing for Desmond.
Hey, mind that. That's my lunch.
That's my lunch.
That's Goldeneye. You can quote him in all the movies. Although I did like...
I think it's Moonraker, isn't it? Where he's got the bolusks. He sits there and Roger Moore goes in and goes, balls, Q.
Oh, yeah.
Bolus, 007.
Although Die Another Day, the best scene from Die Another Day is the underground scene. Like, you've been down here far too long.
Yeah.
That's the best scene of
That's
Die
a
Another
good
Day.
scene, yeah.
But yeah, Die Another Day, I'd say, is probably the worst Bond movie, I'd say.
Yeah.
I just don't really
And I think,
enjoy
again,
watching it.
I don't know what they were doing. I don't know why it's so bad.
Yeah.
Because they got it right so much with Goldeneye. I mean,
Even the handgun he uses, I just don't like it.
what's
I know
he
he
use?
uses that in Tomorrow Never Dies, but
yeah.
it's a thicker, like, square
I think
shape.
it's still a Walther, but I don't. It's not a PPK.
No, the PPK looks so good.
It might be just a PP. I know he's used a couple of things. I know he's used something like an SS9. I can't remember.
Yeah.
There is
It
different.
could be the
numbers
PP9.
on. Oh, it could be. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the PP9.
Yeah,
the
PP9.
Walter PP9.
Yeah.
There you go. So yeah, Goldfinger. We mentioned it earlier, Goodfellas as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is one of the movies that.
Do you know what? I have a problem with those films, and it's only recently.
The gangster mafia movies.
It's only recently I've watched them because everybody bigged them up so much.
Yeah.
It was like Avatar. I didn't watch Avatar until literally everybody had watched it.
I watched it in cinema with Mum. 2009 it was.
Yeah.
In 3D.
Yeah.
It was good, but I didn't think it was anything amazing.
I went and saw it with my other half
I know,
at the
like
time.
at least probably 15, 20 better sci-fi movies than
Again, I mean, it's the other thing as well is he shelved it, didn't he, for quite a while?
Yeah.
It didn't come out for a while because
he made loads of money from the first one.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah. What's the other one? Way of Water or something?
yeah,
like
I've not watched that either.
I haven't seen that.
No.
But we watched it and it was like another effects film. That was okay. The effects are cool.
The movie
isn't
the
great.
actual story is so fucking basic.
It's very basic.
It's so basic.
It's very, very basic. But
it's predictable, like what's going to happen. Like at first, it's like, oh, I'm this blue guy. I couldn't care less about all the other blue guys, and then it's like, oh, no, actually, I know their way of the world, and then fuck you, got like
I will
the
embrace.
military.
I will embrace my giant Smurf and kill the helicopters.
The people that I've been a part of for all these years,
who pay me. No, there's a lot of that to it that I was like, no, I don't know.
And in the ending as well, when he becomes like he takes his human self and becomes a Navi,
and then he actually becomes a
weird thing as well. I thought
but I think what it is,
it's like he's put his brain in that body or something.
I think it's the dream of getting back what you had.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I understand because obviously he's in a wheelchair.
He's in a wheelchair, and it's the dream of getting back what you had, and it's kind of like you want to live forever, but you want to live forever doing things that you used to be able to do.
Yeah.
And that it's kind of like the opposite of, and I woke up and it was all a dream.
Yeah.
It's kind of like and now I'm in the dream forever.
Yeah.
It's that kind of opposite kind of thing. Couple of things.
It's sort of the way. We probably won't mention the movie, but you saying about like it's all a dream. Have you ever watched the movie Splash?
No.
With it's got Tom Hanks in it.
No.
As a boy, he's out in the water and a mermaid saves him.
I've heard of it.
Yeah.
I've never seen it.
Well, in that movie, he decides to go and live with her underwater at the end, and you think to yourself like
with a lifetime supply of air tanks.
Well, no, she was able to keep him because he's with her. Yeah,
he's done some weird films.
I know.
In the early days.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen Big?
Yeah,
that's a strange
when he dreams
one.
of becoming. An adult.
Yeah,
it's that sort of premise. It's like the ending. I'm just a bit like, is that the right thing?
Yeah, is that how you wrote? Yeah. Would you do that?
Yeah.
No.
Like I guess in Avatar, it's a little bit different to Splash because Avatar.
Yeah.
He looks at it and goes, I can literally be the version I was of myself. All right, I'm a big blue guy, but on a planet that I don't know. But
I mean, he's done some of the things he's come out with. I think are like top notch.
Yeah,
because that's James Cameron again, isn't it? And again, it's like, I mean, I'm assuming you know when he filmed Titanic, he's done filming since then to work out how the ship actually went down.
Right.
But obviously, in his version of Titanic, the ship does split in two.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of people, well, it depends on if you follow the inquiry or the witness statement, but of course the ship's power would have given up before she split.
Right.
So on a dark night, you're not fully going to see some stuff that's happening.
That's going to be.
But the ship does break on the water, but they don't think it was the.
I've never actually watched the movie.
Well, the stern goes up, and
obviously, I'm fully aware of what happened.
And it's supposed to break between around the third funnel.
Right.
So the stern comes down, but as the bow comes down and sinks, it pulls the stern, drags water into it.
Right.
And there's some scenes in that where the stern gradually destroys itself because it's still filled with air, but sinks and blows up, and people throw themselves off the back. And they're not sure fully how much that really happened. And he only did it because he generally dived the wreck.
Right. And he didn't do that submarine thing. God.
No, but he did that before they were doing that. And of course, Bob Ballard.
Have you seen like the video of like how it would have been for them when they?
Oh yeah, no. Well, weirdly,
it's obviously a reconstruct.
We'll come back to it. We'll come back to it because I've got a film later that kind of goes into it.
Right.
And because we're on G, there's another film as well that's called Ghost of the Abyss, which is actually a Disney film that goes into and the front cover. The only thing that drew me to it was the front cover. I absolutely adore the front cover. It's half of it is the ship as it was, the other half of the ship as it is down there.
Yeah.
And it's really another Disney thing, but it's really, really good. But he actually went down there.
James Cameron.
Yeah, he actually went down there and researched the wreck. Do you know he went down there with Bill Paxton?
Oh, it says here.
He actually
went down. Aliens guy. And it's
Oh, we're dead, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Game over, man.
Game over, man. I loved Bill Paxton. All the films he's in, I think he's great.
Predator 2.
Yeah. One of my favourite films he's in.
Terminator 1
a little bit.
well.
Terminator 1, yeah. I need your clothes, your boots, and your motorcycle.
Yeah. Fuck you, asshole. My final G is one of my favourite. It's in my top 10 movies.
Go on.
Godfather.
Again, going back to what we were talking about. I haven't watched them until recently. Because Scarface, Goodfellas, Godfather 2.
Yeah.
Everybody kind of went, it's brilliant, it's brilliant, you've got to watch it. And I'm like, I'm going to watch this, and it ain't going to be as good as everybody's hyped it up. And I'll go, it was all right. And everybody will go, what?
Yeah.
And you'd be like, oh, actually, no, they are good films.
Yeah.
They're good films.
Yeah.
I think they're really good films.
Music as well.
Yeah, another one.
That
Love
Scene song is so good. Yeah, it's better than the actual.
It's actually It's one of those things that the soundtrack really does make it. It's a really good film. Really, really good film.
Have you got any other G's?
The only other ones that I would mention really is Gremlins.
Oh yeah,
I love Gremlins. Joe Dante. Ghost in the Shell.
Oh yes,
Scarlett Johansson. It's good. It's another one of those things of rather than talking about TV series going to film or film going to TV series, as we were talking about with Thomas the Tank Engine. It's one of those ones that I think the first Resident Evil film is good.
Agreed. Yeah.
Following on, varying grades.
Apocalypse is decent.
Yeah.
Extinction's okay. That's the third one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is that right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the fourth one is.
I can't remember what the fourth one is. Then you've got Final Chapter, haven't you?
No. There's.
Oh, is that 6? That's number 6.
Yeah. So fourth it begins with an A. Afterlife. Yeah. Then you got Retribution, which is awful.
And there is dotted in between them. There's CGI ones, which I've got a couple of, which aren't too
they're
bad.
good. Yeah,
they aren't bad actually. They're really
They
alright.
released them on PlayStation, so I bought them on like PlayStation Play.
Yeah.
Like like video and that.
Yeah.
And it's actually
they're really good. There's a few more new ones that then come out.
They're called oh fuck. I know. There's one in an airport, isn't there?
Yeah.
Yeah, one in an airport.
But then and there's
one is actually in a foreign country as well.
Yeah.
And that's
I think they're done by the same people who did Spirits for like Final Fantasy, those films. I think they've got something to do with it. But some of those animated versions of the franchise are really, really good. But Ghost in the Shell, I didn't mind it. It's like Ready Player One, which, I mean, that's off of the book.
Spielberg as well.
Yeah, I think some of those, I can watch them once and think, that's a good film. I don't know if I'll watch them again. Yeah. But that kind of thing.
Yeah, Avatar didn't really make me go, wow, I want to watch this again.
No, but again, leading on to what actually it'll probably turn up later, and then we'll talk. The only other one I was going to mention was Galaxy Quest, which is another spoof.
Right.
That's Tim Allen being a spaceship captain, Sigourney Weaver, Alan Rickman, brilliant.
Oh, Alan Rickman,
brilliant actor, bless him.
What was that one with the
Galaxy Quest?
Galaxy Quest. I've heard of that.
It's a silly little film, but it's hilarious.
1999.
Yeah, there's loads of people in it.
Oh yeah, I've seen that. Yeah, with Alan Rickman. Yeah,
that's brilliant. But the only other one I was going to mention as well, Ghost Rider.
Oh yes, yeah, Nicolas Cage.
Nicolas Cage being Nicolas Cage, and it's brilliant. I love that film. I haven't actually watched the second one. I only watched the first one again recently. Rambo X. That was. I really like that film. Really like that film.
Fair play.
But yeah, that's the G's done.
Okay. H's. Well, one of the H's we've mentioned loads of times. Harry Potter. Like.
Yeah. See now, again, my problem with it is. I don't know. Maybe I'm just too old. I don't know.
Yeah, no, it's an age thing.
I don't know. Maybe I'm just too old for it.
Same with you with like Back to the Future. Like,
yeah,
I think it was of an age.
Yeah,
where it's like, I look it back and I go, is that really?
Yeah, because I know a lot of people now who are younger who watch Back to the Future and go, how does that work?
Yeah.
And you're like, right, your brain's not set up for that kind of backstory. Again, it's just one of those things. As I said, when Lord of the Rings came out, the first one, which is about 98, 99, I think, something silly like that. The books had been
Lord of
about...
the Rings?
The first one, Fellowship, yeah.
I think it's 2001, isn't it?
Might be. I mean, they filmed it, because they filmed a lot of it in bulk, didn't they? When's the first one? 2001. Right, so yeah. So
that's good for me, because
that was very good,
I'm not really massively into Lord of the Rings.
Bearing in mind, we'd heard about it. Yeah. And we were like, oh, this is coming out. Yeah. I hope they do it justice. Because there was a lot of people who read Tolkien's books and were like, don't fuck this up. Yeah. You know? Whereas Potter come out, and I think there was an element of...
That was 2001 as well.
That book's coming... Bearing in mind, there would have been no books after the first one.
Yeah.
You knew those
were
coming.
Making them.
Yeah. Whereas these were already made.
Yeah.
And everybody was like quite defensive about these, going, don't balls this up. Whereas with Potter, the one book had come out and straight away they went, oh, we'll make this film series. And decided that gradually, as the books come out, they'd make the films. And so there wasn't this kind of cult following over half a century.
I think some of the books had already been made.
I think... When was the first
I'm
book?
pretty sure.
Because there was a while where there was 2 books, wasn't there?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it wasn't just one book, one movie, and that was it. Like
when's the first one?
97, 98,
so
they had 4 books.
So the 4th book had just come out while then the first movie came out.
So you had a good picture.
So you had, but again, that's only 4 years as opposed to 70.
Yeah.
So you.
Oh yeah, if we can. You can't even compare with Lord of the Rings.
Well, what I'm
saying is is that they didn't just go, oh, we read your one and only book, and we're going to go with it.
That's what I'm saying. I think the people who watched them were like, oh, they're making a film of Potter. Yeah. They'd be like, oh, that'll be good. I bet that'll be good.
Yeah, I've read.
Whereas people with, I mean, even now.
There's generations.
The TV series that have come out for Lord of the Rings, some of it people have said is brilliant, some of it is like, don't waste your time.
Prime stuff.
Yeah. Where it was happening a lot with that, where they were going, I really like those books, don't balls it up.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's like we were talking about earlier as well, the kind of generational gap between things. But yeah, so...
My other, you got loads for H, or I've got Halloween.
I've got a couple. Nothing mega, because we talked about Hammer and that.
I've got Halloween for
the first.
Yeah,
John Carpenter
one
again.
And two.
Yeah,
I like
John
both.
Carpenter again.
Season of the Witch is a weird one. The third one.
I've not seen that one. How many are there? About 5, 6.
More than that, I think, mate.
27.
If you include the reboots as well that they've done.
Yeah, because there's about H2O.
So Halloween Season of the Witch, it doesn't have Michael Myers in it, and it's about. Is
it a copycat?
No, it's to do with like an element of Stonehenge. Yeah, there's a piece of rock that gets put into like these masks, and this evil person's going to basically have all kids wear these masks and do a radio like a TV broadcast, and it's going to melt their heads.
Oh, wow.
The mask on. Yeah.
You ever heard? There's an old film. I say old film. I think it's 80s again. There was a film called The Brain. Basically, there's this whopping huge brain out the back of this TV studio, and they're doing shows and that, basically saying, "Oh, do this, do that, do this," and like subliminal.
The brain that wouldn't die.
No, it's just called The Brain.
A movie, yeah.
Yeah.
1988.
That's it.
Yeah, here we go. Yeah, The Brain. Wow.
Yeah, and it's like proper proper B movie.
Yeah.
But there's this brain in a machine, and then gradually it starts to do its own thing. And it's
brainwash children. It's through television.
It is, and it's literally like modern day thing, like telling kids what to do and how to do it, and gradually telling them, you work for me now, bitch. It's literally it is that.
Well, that's the same with like any propaganda, isn't it? It's, you target the kids first.
Yeah.
And then...
How many Halloween films are there?
There you go.
Holy moly!
Yeah. So number 4 has
he comes back.
Yeah, but it also has what's his name come back.
Dwight H. Little. I'm sure.
Dr. Sam Loomis.
Yeah.
Donald Pleasance.
It's Donald Pleasance. Yeah.
I don't know if Donald Pleasance is in
you mean Blofeld?
Yeah. You can have it as any of them, I suppose.
Yeah. Oh, he's done show.
Oh no, Donald Pleasance is in number 5 as well.
Oh, no, he's in
number 6 as well.
He's Donald Pleasance. Not only is he Blofeld in that, but he's also in John Carpenter film. Do you know which one?
Apart from Halloween, obviously.
Yeah.
No.
Prince of Darkness.
Oh, okay.
I think he's the father. I think he's the vicar.
Prince of Darkness. Yeah, he's in it. Yeah, it's right there.
Yeah.
Oh.
He's the priest, yeah.
There you go. Yeah. John Carpenter loves a movie, doesn't he?
Oh, yeah. There's tons of his stuff.
Yeah.
Christine. I love because Christine, he did a version of Stephen King's book. Christine, I love that. That even might have been the first film of his I watched, actually.
Oh, mine was...
Other than Big Trouble in Little China.
I think mine was either The Thing or...
Oh, yeah,
or
that's on my list.
Yeah, either Halloween or The Thing. Hot Fuzz, I put down.
Yeah.
Fucking love Hot Fuzz.
And we've talked about... I mean, The Hobbit...
It's my favourite of the Cornetto trilogy of World's End, Shaun of the Dead and Hot Fuzz.
The middle one, yeah. I prefer...
They call it the Cornetto trilogy.
Cornetto trilogy, yeah. I do like Hot Fuzz more than I like World's End.
Yeah.
I think you're right, yeah. I think I even prefer it more than Shaun of the Dead, actually.
There are some funny bits in Shaun of the Dead.
There are funny bits in Shaun. There are funny bits in Shaun of the Dead.
That today with James. It was like the kill Phil. Phil. Yeah. Like every scenario, they kill Phil.
Yeah, kill Phil.
And then my other movie was Hot Shots.
That's what I've got. I love that one.
I actually prefer Hot Shots Part 2
rather
than the first one.
Yeah.
Well, I do like both, obviously, but
they're brilliant films.
I watched Part 2 first.
Yeah.
And it's just so funny. So stupid.
There used to be like when we first got cable and that round here, when Sky first came round here and they were doing cable TV.
God, it makes you sound so. When they first,
Yeah. And Sky 1 was the TV channel that had all the new stuff coming on. There used to be just like film channels,
right?
And they would just run films, and there would be things like Hot Shots, Naked Gun, Cannonball Run, things like that. These silly films you could just put on and watch, and there were tons of them. It was brilliant. Now you got to pay money for them again, I suppose. Yeah. But yeah, Hot Shots. And again, I think I watched Part 2 before I watched Part 1.
Yeah.
And it was hilarious.
But they've got nothing to do with each other. The movie.
No,
so you
they haven't.
watch Part 2 and it's not like you're watching the second part. It's just
the only other
taking the piss out of Rambo and Rambo First Blood Part 2.
The only other thing as well was Hobbit, because I do like Hobbit. I don't like it more than Lord of the Rings.
Yeah. It's the same with Harry Potter. I've not watched any of the Fantastic Beasts movies.
No, I haven't. I haven't. The only other couple that I've got is one of the ones which is an old horror film called The House That Dripped Blood, which is my kind of one for all those films of Peter Cushing, Christopher Lee, Vincent Price, and that, which I love.
The production.
There's a kind of, there's a few of them. There's them Second Sight films. Tegon is one of them. Argon's there's loads.
So
of them
like things like Frankenstein and Bride of Frankenstein, they weren't made by Universal.
There's a double up of some of them. So the original, as you're saying, the original Frankenstein and Dracula films were early Universal.
Yeah.
And then when it got to the late 60s... Yeah, and then when the 60s and 70s come around, there was a real partial for horror films.
Right.
And a lot of them redid them, again, with people like the older group, so Vincent Price and that, Boris Karloff and that were like the remnants of that kind of golden era of 50s, 40s, 50s, early 60s of... even for Dracula, which would have been like Bela Lugosi, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
They were all, where all those posters come from, they were all coming out. And then around the 60s and 70s, Because of course Christopher Lee's first, I think he was in like swashbuckling like pirate films before he got cast.
It's weird looking at a younger Christopher Lee.
It is, because he only played.
Because I know him, like when I first saw him, it was Count Dooku, and it's
Count
like,
Dooku,
oh shit.
yeah. And of course everybody knows him as Saruman and everything.
Yeah.
And then you look at it and you sit there and think, beforehand, he played Dracula 5 times. I mean, he's hardly in the last one, which is Scars of Dracula, I think. But he played Dracula 5 times. But he's done loads of other films, but everybody remembers him as Dracula.
What I do like about Dracula, it's his son, Alucard, because it's Dracula backwards.
Well, it's really clever, isn't it?
Yeah.
It is clever. There's things like that dotted all around. And then again, as I said, Peter Cushing, again, becomes what's it for Star Wars and whatnot.
Count
Dooku. And it around that time, those 60s, 70s, early 80s horror films, I really, really like. Right. Because it's something as well like the BBC could do. When you look at Doctor Who around that time, and they do like futuristic world and that, and you're like, that war's moving, that's bubble wrap.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Yeah. And that, but what they could really do well is these period drama things. So when you get them in an old house or an old mansion and everything, the atmosphere in them is really good. Yeah.
It's not
really,
a set.
really good. And that's what a lot of the times Hammer was really good at, was like sound stages and that. They could do a really, really good creepy atmosphere.
Yeah.
And they were brilliant with dry ice and doing a bog or something like that.
It's like the little things actually start to
and again, one of them that leads me on from that is one like Hound of the Baskervilles. Because I find Sherlock Holmes has got a finger in every pie across everywhere. Because you look at it, and again, Peter Cushing...
What was that, sorry?
Hound of the Baskervilles. But it's a certain version, because you've got...
Oh, God, yeah.
Try 59.
39, 59,
try
and
59.
2002.
The 59 version, Peter Cushing plays Sherlock Holmes.
Oh, okay.
He plays Sherlock Holmes.
Lee.
Andre Morell plays his Watson.
Yeah.
And by that point, there had been Basil Rathbone playing Sherlock Holmes, and his Watson, I can't remember the guy's name, but he was a bit of a bumbling kind of, I don't know what you mean. Oh, okay, fair enough. He was a bit of a bumbler.
Yeah.
And Andre Morell wanted to kind of play him as his sidekick. He didn't want to be, explain it, Holmes, I haven't got a clue what you're talking about. He wanted to be part of it and that.
1939, wow.
Yeah, all of that stuff. That's Basil Rathbone,
Yeah.
Yeah, so all of that kind of thing. And then, I mean, this is before, so my Sherlock Holmes is Jeremy Brett, who everybody who watched the series, which was an ITV series, he played Sherlock Holmes to a point where even when they weren't filming, he would do Sherlock Holmes things.
Right.
And he had a bit of a weird life near the end, bless him. But Jeremy Brett, for me,
the first thing I type in Jeremy Brett is the best Sherlock Holmes on Reddit, and just people like moaning at each other, like, no, he's not. Yes, he is. See, now everybody from a certain age, the older one will remember Basil Rathbone. There's loads of people. It's like the Doctor, isn't it?
Basically? Loads of people.
Like my Doctor is David Tennant.
Yeah, anybody who is anybody actor-wise has been Sherlock Holmes. Roger Moore has played Sherlock Holmes. Christopher Lee has played Sherlock Holmes. William Shatner and Leonard Nimoy have played Sherlock Holmes. There are tons of them. Some of them where you're like, what? Have you ever seen? There's a film by a guy who's later on in my list called Nicholas Mayo, who did Star Trek 2, Wrath of Khan.
Right.
But he did a film called Time After Time, and Time After Time is
a Cyndi Lauper song.
Yeah, is H.G. Wells trying to catch Jack the Ripper.
Oh my God!
Through time. It's a very clever film.
H.G. Wells like the first serial killer?
What, H.G. Wells?
No.
Jack the Ripper?
No, what am I getting confused with H.G. Wells?
H.G. Wells is Time Machine and
War of
the Worlds.
Right.
All that kind
what
of
am I
thing.
getting confused with?
I don't know.
Damn. Ignore me.
It might come to you in a minute.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a good little film if you ever get a chance to watch.
Right.
But yeah, Sherlock Holmes. And then of course you got the later versions where everybody
Does he actually get Sherlock Holmes in the end?
I'm not going to tell you.
Jack the Ripper in the end?
I'm not going to tell you. But it's a brilliant little film.
Right.
But yeah, and of course everybody kind of now knows the films with Jude Law and Robert Downey Jr. in them, where they're kind of like good films. They're watchable films where he's quite this slick sleuth doing stuff, and then of course everybody then knows Benedict Cumberbatch playing him as well with Martin Freeman. So there's so many different versions where you go, no, that's my Sherlock, that's my Sherlock, that's my Sherlock. But yeah, that Hound of the Baskervilles, that Arrow one that's just been re-released, which is 59, is Peter Cushing, Christopher Lee, and everything. It's a good little one, good little film. The only other thing I would mention for its is Hunt for Red October. One of the first films that I really got into, which is kind of like that 80s, 90s action film. You know, they're filmed in a certain way. Right. But it's brilliant just to have Sean Connery, a Scottish person, play a Russian submarine captain and have a Russian sub-commander with a Scottish accent.
Yeah, that's...
Alec Baldwin, Sam Neill, love Sam Neill, love all his films.
Sam Neill.
James L. Jones, who is everybody knows Vader.
Yeah. Tim Curry.
Peter Firth, Tim Curry, yeah. Richard Jordan, there are loads of people. It is, but it's also the first film that starts off the set of films where he's... Oh, Christ, what's his name in it?
Is Red October, I guess, the submarine.
Red October is the name of the sub, yeah. But they're a set of Tom Clancy books.
Yeah, Jack Ryan.
And Jack Ryan is the guy that Alec Baldwin plays. And then afterwards, Alec Baldwin was something, they said we're going to do some more films, which I think are Clear and Present Danger and... I don't know, Attack of the Bagels. There's a couple of... But then Harrison Ford takes over.
Right.
And he plays Jack Ryan.
Yeah.
And
Patriot Games.
Yeah, Patriot Games. And then it's Clear and Present Danger.
Yeah.
And then he stops it and they get Ben Affleck to play it, who does The Sum of All Fears. And then I think they did a TV series. There is another film which has got Chris Pine, I think, as him, which is... He plays Kirk in the later ones. But they're not bad films. But Hunt for Red October, yeah, I like that.
Are we on to I now?
We're on to I.
I've got... well, we've spoken about Indiana Jones, so I mention Indiana Jones.
I love the sit. Now, do you reckon if we didn't have Indiana Jones, we'd have Tomb Raider?
Ooh, because Tomb Raider is actually the female Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
Don't know, but I'm glad we did get Tomb
Raider.
Because Angelina Jolie was my first crush as a kid.
If you don't know what we're on about, watch the one we did before.
Yeah, she was my first crush as a kid.
Oh, yeah. And they've remastered them, and they've done it as sets 1 to 3 and 4 to 6.
Yeah.
Which I've got to get. But.
Inception? Christopher Nolan.
Yeah, another one of those Nolan films where...
It's too confusing.
It's confusing for confusing.
Too much is going on for the sake of nothing.
The other one, Interstellar, I think is a good film, but I've got to be in the right mood to watch it. But there's some beautiful bits of music, like we were talking about earlier. I have a thing for composers.
No, same here. I think I've spoken about many a time the power of music in.
Yeah. Hans Zimmer, isn't it?
Yeah, Hans Zimmer.
Hans Zimmer and Time. There's a bit of music in there that's called Time.
And my other eye is in my top 10 movies of all time, Inglourious Bastards.
That's a good little film. That is a good film.
Yeah, Quentin Tarantino.
Brad Pitt,
Christopher Waltz.
Yeah.
Yeah, Brad Pitt. Samuel Jackson does the voiceover for it.
He's narrator,
Michael Myers makes a little cameo in it as well.
Does he?
Yeah. Oh, he's the one who tells them about the operation, isn't it?
Yeah.
We've got all our eggs in one basket.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. If you had whiskey with water, I would have a whiskey with water. I love Inglourious Bastards. It's great. But yeah, that's it for my eyes, really.
Well, I mean, I've had a chat about Italian cinema and that.
Yeah.
The only other thing, there are a couple of things that I will mention for I. And again, it kind of shows the differences, mainly in how things are filmed and like what we were talking about with posters and everything. When you look at it, how Pennywise is in the film from the 70s, 80s, where
Tim Curry.
It's Tim Curry, yeah. And then you look at the It, chapter 1 and 2.
I have no idea who the actor is for that, but he looks creepy.
But he's creepy.
He's so creepy, man. That man is creepy.
But again, same thing, but different. And I love watching different versions.
It's like a retelling of the same story.
Retelling of the same story, yeah. I would also say... Right, first one is, I would say, a modern classic. Right. For me, Independence Day.
Okay.
I think that in its scope...
Is that the Will Smith movie?
Will Smith, Will Smith, Bill Pullman. Again, it's one of those films where it was like, right, let's do an alien invasion, but let's do it properly.
Yeah.
And they you kind of and you get
the World's End is not doing it properly.
The World's End is it's not how it should be done.
No.
I second one's a bit But the thing is as well, I do have a thing for Jeff Goldblum films. I think he's great in whatever he's in, whether it be The Fly.
New, oh God,
Thor?
Wicked.
Oh, Wicked, no.
Yeah. Apparently that's supposed to be pretty decent, actually. The new Wicked movie.
With Wicked, I've known loads of people who go, I love it, I love it, I love it, I love it, to the point I was sick of hearing.
Yeah. It's like, all right, we get it.
Yeah, Wicked is Wicked, I get it.
You got any other eyes?
Only other couples, there's, again, another one like we were talking about with the car things, car films, Italian Job.
Oh, yeah.
Which is classic, absolute classic.
What about, do you care much for the 2003 version?
I can watch it.
Mark
Wahlberg.
Yeah.
I don't mind it.
I was going to say, guy from Ted.
Yeah. I will watch it if it's on, but I wouldn't go and buy it. Yeah. I would, if they did a special edition of Italian Job, Michael Caine, I would get it.
Yeah.
The only other couple, again, going back to talking about books and films, I Am Legend.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
I Am Legend is a book. Yeah, Will Smith, another one.
Quite scary, quite sad.
Quite sad and quite real sad, because he'd only really lost his dog recently, hadn't he, during that. So when the dog dies in that as well, he generally was upset.
Yeah.
I think.
That scene, anything cruelty to animals, it just sets me off. Right?
Yeah. Who wrote the book? I'm trying to remember who wrote the book.
I've no idea.
I Am Legend. Have a look. Tell me. My mind's gone blank.
Richard
Matheson. Yes. Yeah. So the book, as we said, is Richard Matheson. There is an earlier version of it, which is actually called The Omega Man, which was like a
1954 book.
Yeah.
Wow.
I have a copy of that. You should read it. It's good. But yeah, there's Charlton Heston, I think it is, plays him in like 1973, 74 film called The Omega Man. Same premise as the book, follows the book completely. And it's literally just I Am Legend is the proper name of the book, but the same story.
Yeah.
But yeah. Brilliant. Oh yeah, look, Omega Man. And it's also the inspiration for Night of the Living Dead.
Ah, yes.
Which is where we start getting into things like Romero and things like that.
Yeah, George R. Romero.
Yeah. The other one, again, slightly...
George A. Romero.
Yeah, the only other one as well, slightly horror involved, was one of my favourite films, which was Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
Oh, is that the... Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, Donald Sutherland, Jeff Goldblum, Leonard Nimoy, Veronica Cartwright, I think. What a film. Again, based on...
The 56 or the 78?
78. 78 is the one that we're talking about. Yeah. So, and again, there is a follow-on from that. The Invasion Continues, but that one is the main one. But there's so many people in that one.
Jeff Goldblum.
Another Jeff Goldblum, as I said, Brooke
Donald Sutherland.
Donald Sutherland is the guy you're talking about with that bit. Leonard Nimoy, there's Jeff tons of people in it. It had been done before. It's another remake of a book.
Yeah.
But again, what a film. I love it. I love it. And the only other one that I've got for which is a bit for me for musical, is there's a film called It Might Get Loud, which is purely about music. Right. And it's basically The Edge from U2 gets with...
2008. Really.
Yeah.
So we've gone a bit like more...
Yeah, more forward for me. But yeah, so Jack White of the White Stripes, Jimmy Page from Led Zeppelin, and The Edge from U2 get together and talk about guitars and music and how things come about. And it's really good. If you like music, watch it. It's a good little thing. But yeah, that's me for really. And that's really, I think, apart from maybe S, that's the last of the big uns.
I've got quite a few in between that, to be fair.
I lied. So,
but we can rapid fire through anyway.
Yeah, go for it.
So, Jay's Jurassic Park.
Yeah, I got Jurassic. Again, everybody, it comes out.
I did watch, obviously, Jurassic Park before I went on the ride, but then watching the movie first and then going on the ride makes the ride even more special. It's so
See,
good.
with this is another one. This is another one where it was a novel. And the novel is a lot more horror-fied than the film.
Yeah, but the film was targeted
done as a PG, wasn't it?
Yeah, it
was done on PG.
Kids.
Again, it's another one of those. I don't know what it is. I read the book and watch the
music.
film. Yeah, again, another spot on. Sam Neill, Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah.
It's another one of those films where I read the book and watch the film. You watch the film and then go on the ride.
Yeah. a lot of these movies that we've either spoken of or going to speak of, I've been on the Harry Potter ride.
Is there Harry Potter the ride?
There's loads of Harry Potter rides. Yeah, there's loads. Mate, they make a whole section for Harry Potter. Like you can go down Diagon Alley.
Diagon Alley, yeah.
But there'll be Gringotts and you do an escape from Gringotts.
I've seen that.
It's not actually based off the movie.
because there's a Walnut.
Like, Goblet of Fire ride. Like there's not that. My other J's, like this is more so the modern version rather than the old version. Jumanji.
The old one, the Robin Williams one.
So I've only watched the
new ones,
the Rock ones.
The new ones I think are really good, and the old one is one of those rare moments where I actually go, the new and the old ones are really good in their own right. I think they're really, really good.
And the other only J I've got is John Wick, but I've only watched the first John Wick movie.
The first one's really, really good. I haven't seen any of the. I think we're up to number 4 now.
I think it's over.
I think there's another. I think there's a spin-off or something happening.
Have you got any other J's?
Right, no. The only other ones that I mentioned, we did Justice League earlier, and that was where I was saying about with directors, where sometimes it's a compromise to get it in for like 2 hours, 2.5 hours. And as we said, that version of Snyder's
4 hours.
Is 4 hours 2 minutes.
Shit, I've just closed Google down. I think it was 4 hours.
Yeah, it's about 4 hours 2 minutes. I think
that was in part 1, which we're now in part 3 and going to be down on the part 4.
But I think we'll wrap up on the last one quite quick.
Oh, the last video won't be an hour.
No,
4 hours compared to under 2 hours.
And again, they've done
theoretical. Is that how you say?
Theatrical.
Yeah,
theatrical release.
Theoretical is like you're thinking of it rather than doing it.
It was released in theatres.
Yeah.
He knows what he means.
Yeah.
The only other 2 that I had for it was Journey to the Centre of the Earth, which was a lot of those.
There's a remake.
There is a remake which is Brendan Fraser.
Yeah.
But you've also got a lot of the old ones, which was done by an old stop motion cinematographer called Ray Harryhausen.
Stop motion being like Wallace and Gromit.
Yeah, exactly. But of course, they've done a lot of that in the early kind of sci-fi films, like Earth versus Flying Saucers, Journey to the Centre of the Earth, When Dinosaurs Were in the World, that kind of thing. It was all stop motion. And Ray Harryhausen was the guy that did all the models. He was the guy that did it and set it up. Because usually you usually have a main filming team, and then you have like a B-roll team.
Right. Okay.
You have like a second set team where they do all the scenery.
Same
shots
video games. I think they have like a main team and then they have a second team.
And they kind of then edit and cut the 2 together.
Yeah.
And Ray Harryhausen was the guy who was the model maker for doing all these flying saucers and some of the American version of the Godzilla films.
Right. Yeah.
Creature from the Black Lagoon, all of that kind of thing. I've I love when I was a kid.
Not seen it, but I know
all of those scenes where you've got water but done as lava, orange, really wet running lava, and these polystyrene dinosaurs and that, and this, there'd be like something comes out of the crab, and there'd be this crab comes out like screaming at full pelt, and these people would be like, what the hell is going on? But they were those films, and I loved those films as a kid. The only other one for Jay that I was going to mention was Jaws.
Yeah, I was going to put Jaws down. I missed the boat, literally, on the ride. The ride actually closed at Universal.
We didn't get on the ride.
Fucking nightmare. But I like Jaws. Obviously, the music's great. Everyone knows
John Williams again.
Yeah, I think we mentioned it before with other movies. Like, I wouldn't go and watch it again. I'm not like massively like, oh yeah, I've got to watch Jaws again.
It's another one of those films, weirdly like Jurassic Park again, Spielberg again, where the making of it is just as interesting, I think, for me as the film. So with Jurassic Park, when they were filming it, where they call the park Isla Nebula or whatever it is, the place was hit by huge storms, hurricanes, and all the sets were ripped to bits and everything, and they were doing other stuff.
I just like going back to Jurassic Park. I love the logo.
Yeah, it's great, isn't it?
Yeah,
the
red with the black.
Yeah,
that's
awesome.
That on a T-shirt sells money. That makes money. That does.
Oh yeah,
I love that.
Yeah.
That is. Yeah. And have you played the video game as well? Like the Sega, the old Sega
the old
games?
one I have played.
Yeah.
I've also got the park building ones. I have those. I think they're quite cool.
Oh yeah.
But yeah. But again, the game of Jurassic Park kind of semi reminded me of like Dino Crisis and things like that.
They've remixed that on PlayStation as well.
Yeah, so that
I've never played Dino Crisis. It's like Dinosaurs Resident Evil.
Yeah, Dino Resi Evil kind of thing. And Jaws is another one of those, again, brilliant people in it. Roy Schneider, Richard Dreyfuss, who's in Close Encounters, and Robert Shaw, who as we know is the baddie in From Russia with Love.
Yeah.
But yeah, they
Red Grant.
That's him, yeah. Again, it's where they had the boat Orca and how they were filming it with Bruce, which was the prop for the Great White Shark.
Yeah.
It's an interesting thing on how it was made. It really, really is. But yeah, Jaws is quite good.
K's,
I've got a couple.
Same.
Where we've talked about Kubrick as director.
Stanley Kubrick.
Yeah. So again, for me, my one would be 2001: Space Odyssey, but being spacey or a sci-fi person, I would say. And the King adaptations. There's some really good Stephen King adaptations. The new version of Pet Sematary is really good. The three I've got for K, Kill Bill.
Oh yeah,
it's another
Kill
one.
Bill,
That's another one. I think
that one goes on the radar with like Quentin Tarantino.
Yeah,
movies,
I think
Kill
it's
Bill.
another one of those
Uma
soundtracks.
Thurman.
Yeah, another one where the soundtrack's brilliant. How it's filmed is good.
The violence is
and it's a vibrant film.
Yeah,
like her yellow and black like suit and
the colouring.
Yeah, it's a very vibrant film.
Yeah.
The only other two is another 80s. It might be 90s throwback. Kindergarten Cop.
I've got that written down. Yeah.
What a film! Yeah. What a film! And the top one I've got, because we've been talking about films coming of age and soundtracks, is Kevin and Perry Go Large.
All right, okay. Yeah.
What a film! Bear in mind, I think it's directed by Ed By.
I see
who is
people
the same
dressed
guy.
up as that.
Yeah,
still to this day, like anything I
You
go.
know, Mrs. Patterson. It was brilliant at the time. Harry Enfield and Chums, when it came out, was. I mean, we would talk about it.
I've watched Harry Enfield like sketch shows.
Yeah.
I don't think I've watched like actual Kevin and Perry, but I've watched like the sketch shows.
Yeah,
and they're hilarious.
Yeah, and everybody was copying it. And then Kevin and Perry Go Large come out, and this is what is it? 98?
Oh, Kevin and Perry.
98, 99?
2000.
Jesus. Right. So the film come out, and this is so you've got to remember the time this come out in. So 2000s, early 2000s, you had things on telly and in magazines and that. It was almost like another 60s, wasn't it? You had Oasis, Blur, Supertramp. You had all these indie bands, so it was a bit like the old 60s again, except for that it had been modernised. You had a load of music coming about. Drug taking was quite
a
lot.
90s,
yeah, especially in this point of the late 90s, 2000s, and again, being open with a lot of things was happening quite a bit. You had magazines like FHM, Zoo, Nuts, all that kind of thing, where
the dirty mags.
You had bikini clad things. You had men's mags, if you like, where they were saying it was pretty much filled with boobs, video games, new films coming out, and football.
Yeah,
that was it. That was
very
pretty much it. It was very much a lads' mag kind of time. Yeah. And Kevin and Perry come out, and this was the time where the annual coming out from Ministry of Sound,
right? Yeah.
Ibiza soundtracks coming out. Funky House, Kiss, all that kind of thing really had taken off, and the soundtrack of Kevin and Perry Go Large is probably one of the best soundtracks post 2000. Because the music on it, Mysteryland and all that kind of thing, was all this trance euphoria stuff that was really taking off.
So I mean, to be fair, I do listen to that type of music.
Yeah, I love that kind of music. I mean, look, bloody Love Island, Mysteryland, Look of Love. Ayla, Another Day, Don't Give Up, Chicane. I mean, there are people on here that Toka's Miracle, I adore that song. 9 p.m. Till I Come, that's ATB.
Yeah.
Everybody, Lizard, CRW, Dreaming, Moose T. There was loads of that stuff at the time. And it really was a very liberal time, almost like another 60s, not quite, but that kind of thing where you had all this stuff coming out again. So whereas back then you had like the Mini, the Beatles, Rolling Stones, LSD and that kind of thing. This time you had indie bands, Oasis, Blur. then all this trance stuff and funky house, and you had like these cars coming out like Lambos, and everybody went a bit BMW mad, and TV at the time was really, really changing as well. You get 2005, you had series on at the time where a lot of Russell T Davies stuff. So you had things like Queer as Folk. You had then Doctor Who come out. Then
2005.
2005. Around this time, the early 2000s, there's a lot of things where a lot of opinions on stuff was changing, and to live through it, it was an interesting time.
Yeah,
really, really was an interesting time, because there was a lot more of this kind of thing going on where they're just two normal guys and they go and play a set.
Yeah,
you know, and it was like now we're talking bollocks to a phone, and you're watching it.
Yeah,
you could not have done this 20 years ago.
No,
that you couldn't have done. Or you could have, and it would have been very, very different.
Yeah,
and it's
like right time.
Yeah, it is a very much a thing of its time. And the guy who did it, I think Ed Bly, is the same guy who directed most of the Red Dwarf episodes, early Red Dwarf episodes. So yeah, it's I loved that film. I loved that film, but again, purely coming off the back of watching Harry Enfield and Chums and all those sketch shows.
Yeah, my other K was King's Speech. Have you watched that?
I have watched it once. Yeah,
I thought it was quite good.
I thought it was really so. Geoffrey Rush and
guy from Love Actually,
and Colin Firth.
No, Colin Firth. I always get them confused, man. L, I've kind of. I know we've only got like 3 odd minutes.
We could do L.
We've done Living Daylights, done Lord of the Rings.
Live and Let Die. We mentioned,
Live and Let Die,
which is my
License to Kill.
And License to Kill, which I love.
The only other L I've got is Legend. It's about the Krays.
Tom Hardy.
Yeah, that's pretty
brilliant.
good movie.
I think he got an award for that, didn't he?
Yeah, I've watched
both
that.
Sides.
Yes, I've watched that
he
quite a few
played
times.
both of the brothers in that. Yeah, it's a really good film. Only other films that I've got in the L bracket was another one of these kind of 80s musical things that I loved, and that was Little Shop of Horrors.
Oh yes, yeah.
And Little Shop of Horrors
with the plants.
That's it. Yeah, Audrey too, and it's got Rick Moranis in it, who is a legend, and brilliant film.
Is that the guy from Ghostbusters?
That's it. Yeah. And Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
Spaceballs.
Yeah. Dark Helmet. Yeah. Lost in Space, but the Matt LeBlanc version, Matt LeBlanc film, I really, really like. It's silly, but it kind of follows. I mean, there has been a TV series of it recently on Netflix.
Yeah, I think so.
Which didn't do too badly, but it has been. I think it's only 3 seasons. But the film, which is Matt LeBlanc,
Gary
Oldman, who plays brilliant baddie in it. I just love the line in that where the boy comes over the top and he goes, "Oh shit." And Gary Oldman comes over and goes, now, someone of your caliber should not be coming over and speaking like that. Oh shit. And it was really, really, really well.
Gary Oldman.
Yeah, and there's a few people in it. It's a good little Heather Graham in it.
It's just weird to see Matt LeBlanc in like
He's in it. Yeah, he's in it. And he's really, really good, I thought. The only other 2 things that I was going to or 3 things that I was going to mention: Lethal Weapon.
Yes, yeah. I'm going to watch the first one.
Brilliant set of films, and the TV series is quite good as well.
Yeah, I think James watched it.
Yeah, the TV series is really, really good. Films like Lock, Stock.
Oh yeah, Lock, Stock 2, Stony Barrels. Yeah.
Again, made around those 2000s time.
Yeah.
Lock, Stock, Layer Cake, Snatch, all that kind of thing.
Snatch.
Yeah, brilliant film. But again, around that 2000s mark.
Snatch is the most quotable movie.
Yeah, but do you think it could be made now?
No.
It's one of those things.
It's gritty as well.
It's very gritty.
It's gritty.
And the other one, again, like things like Sexy Beast and things like the Wayne Weston and that. Around those times, they are of their time, but they're good.
You couldn't make that today because it just wouldn't resonate.
Yeah.
I think.
And the other
people
one,
will be like, "What is this?"
Yeah.
And now we look at it and go, "Oh, this is
it's classic."
Yeah.
But
then, belly out and all that.
Yeah. Because what else is it? Amanda Redmond, isn't it? And then he just comes flying in.
Ben Kingsley as well.
Yeah, Ben Kingsley, yeah.
And it like fucking do it or something.
Yeah.
I've only watched it once, Sexy Beast.
It's brilliant. It's a good film.
Oh.
And again, the only other thing I was going to mention, again, talking about animation in films, when animation was animation and then drew it, everybody now will go, "Oh, I remember Barney the dinosaur. Or I remember new versions of dinosaur things that have been out and about."
Yeah.
But when I was a kid, there was a film called The Land Before Time.
Yep, I've heard of that.
There's now 30 different films of it now. but it was this dinosaur who was Littlefoot, and it was a brutal film as a kid. It was a brutal film because what happens is that the planet's changing, and Littlefoot is this kind of like little, I don't know if he is a diplodocus, but long-necked kind of thing. And the first thing that happens...
check that. So what did you think he was?
I don't know if it's true, but I've said diplodocus, but I could be completely wrong.
Littlefoot.
Littlefoot is his name. Land Before Time.
Yeah, but the actual type of dinosaur he was. An
Apatosaurus.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway.
I thought that would just be... Oh, we're actually over an hour and it's still recording.
Oh, it's still going. So we'll go for another minute or two.
Yeah.
But at the beginning of the film, his mum dies.
Right.
And he has to go it alone. Yeah, and he has to go it alone. And you're like...
Spoilers.
Yeah, sorry. And you're like...
If you haven't seen Bambi yet, come on.
It's just as Peter sitting there going, watch it. Mum dies. It's a brilliant film for me. Yeah. Sorry. But it's one of those films where it was like, no, this is how life works. I'm not going to fluff it up for you.
Yeah.
I'm not going to cotton wool you. This is how this happens. And he has to go it alone and finds friends on the way to find the place that he needs to go to. And I find a lot of those kids' films, kids' TV in general,
has some messages in it.
Has messages in it that you just don't get in TV now. I mean, I remember Trapdoor. Do you remember Trapdoor?
No.
So it was an old TV series that was plasticine, and there was this big blue bloke called Burke, and it was voiced by a guy at the time. Yeah, it was animated. That's it.
No, I've never seen this for a while.
And it was animated by a guy called Willie Rushton. And it was basically, what happens in it is one of the people in it die. And one of the characters...
And it's got a U, look.
Yeah, it's a U. So it was classified for kids. And basically this guy...
It drew much from horror and dark fantasy.
Yeah, and Count Duckula, same kind of thing.
Yeah.
And basically, Boney, who's one of the characters, has to say to Burke, who's a bit dumb, no, he's not coming back.
Yeah.
Oh, but when's he going to come? No, he's never coming back. And it was when they actually taught kid things. I mean, Thomas the Tank Engine even had things about science, engineering, things like that, which you just don't get now. I mean, there's an episode of Thomas the Tank Engine called the Deputation. And they'd be like, there's kids now, even in their teens, who would go, what does deputation mean?
Yeah. I don't know what that means.
Go on.
Deputation?
Uh-huh.
What? I'm then putting in Thomas the Tank Engine.
Yeah. So basically...
Season 2, episode 17 of Thomas and Friends.
Yeah. It's a snowy one, so it's Christmassy.
Yeah.
But it's basically a point of...
Aired 1986.
Yeah, so Ringo Starr would have been the narrator for that one. But there's loads of things where it was teaching kids and stuff about bits and bobs. And
why am I looking this?
I don't know why you're looking this up. Why are you doing this?
Well, because you're talking about it.
Sorry. But then when you look at TV now, I just don't think they learn anything from it. That's just my opinion. Yeah,
the thing is, I don't watch it, so
No. Beforehand, I was watching a bit of it because... But
shall we? Right. So we're gonna come back.
What do you want to do? Do you want to see if we can get to 5-6 minutes?
Oh
for
no. Well, we've done L.
We've done L.
Yeah. So M. We'll start M on the next video.
All right.
So last part will be hopefully last part will be M to Z. So
M to Z.
Catch you in a minute.